Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign and today we're going to go over the stats for the final test, and there are some real what the fuck moments in here. Remember to like and sub if you haven't already, and if you would like to go that extra millimeter, you can sign up to Patreon for as little as $1. So let's get straight into the vid. So just to let everyone know, this is all PvE related for the most part and does include, maybe we are thinking, some PvP deaths on some of them, considering for example the Jove ships, which are pods, are killed and not killed by NPCs, so there has to be PvP in there. So that's why you'll see some weird stats on the deaths if you compare them from the modules to the actual ships being destroyed. So heading straight into the gate usage. What this is the percentage of people jumping through gates and docking at stations in each region, and I have to say I'm not shocked Caldari are number one. What I am shocked about is just by how much. A massive 41% gate usage, mostly due to Jita probably, and an even bigger 46% station usage in the Caldari systems. Again, probably due to Jita. With Amar only at 27% and 22%, Galente at 16 and 18%, and a Mimitar lagging way in the back at 16 and 14% respectively. So now moving on to the ships destroyed in PvE and PvP. This doesn't mean that all these ships suck, not at all. You have to remember that there are a lot of new players coming to this game and it's only the second of its kind on mobile. But there are some interesting stats along this part. First up, we have the destroyed modules by weapon. Small railgun being the most destroyed, followed by small missile torpedo, and closely followed by medium railgun. Now I'm not sure how these metrics and stats have been collected, but there seems to be some disparity later on. For example, small decomposers and medium decomposers are 14 and 38 dead respectively. And on a metric later on in the faction side, there have been nearly 19,000 Yangjung ships destroyed. Maybe this one is PvP included, so I'm not really sure what's happening there. There seems to be a few more disparities, and it's too late in the night where the devs live to be asking them questions, so we'll find out in the morning and get back on that one in another video. There are some more odd ones. Nearly 9,000 remote armor repairers were destroyed, but only 73 remote shield boosters. Was nobody flying Logi for the Caldari ships? Like, I'm confused. Surely the massive amount of Caldari means that there'll be a lot of people testing, or is it just I don't know, 9,000 remote armor repairers? Is this including rats? Who knows? So next we have the death by tech level. Pretty self-explanatory here, not much to look at. Next up, ship deaths by class. Pretty normal to have more frigate deaths, especially with the changes to the anomalies and their difficulties compared to previous tests. And then we have ships destroyed by faction. Now these correlate pretty much with the percentage of gate jumps and the faction systems and the stations used in systems. Massive amounts of dead Caldari, then Galente, Amar, and finally Mimitar. Weirdly, there was 33 Mordar's Legion ships destroyed, which is kind of a shock considering as far as I knew there weren't any wrecks dropped. Guess I was wrong. Not too many deaths on the pirate faction front though. Then looking at the 19,000 Yangjung deaths. That is a massive amount considering how powerful these ships were. This just goes to prove that skill is a major factor in EVE Echoes, even when flying a god ship. As before, all ships are your Ventures and Retrievers, and the Jove ships are your pods. Not as many as I thought there would be, considering that NPCs don't pod you, these metrics must include PvP kills. Now we get to some really interesting stats and metrics with the anomalies. Some are just completely what in the holy Amarian Empire is going on, and others are kind of it's just normal stuff. So the amount of Garistas Pirates anomalies killed is standard. Everyone and their mum flew Caldari, and it's the closest space to Jita where you go to fit all your caracals, and no doubt most people were flying them. It seems Mimitar space was actually dead, only 457 anomalies killed there. Something to think about if you want to play solo at the beginning and you don't want everyone to be killing your bases. Kinda shocked at the low amount of Blood Raider anomalies killed, considering how massively valuable the rigs are at the beginning. So now moving on to the tech level of anomalies killed. Now I didn't know there was a tech 0 anomaly, so not sure what that is. It has to be something, but it's probably something I'm overlooking. And these metrics actually just goes to show the actual jumps in difficulty that we have talked about before. The vast majority of people couldn't jump from 3 to 4, and then 4+ was an even bigger jump for most people. Definitely something for the devs to look at. Now this one is the most insane of them all, and I'm shocked, and I'm actually kind of pissed off at this one. Look how many bases have been popped. 69,881. 70 fucking thousand bases were popped. That's over twice as many bases popped as Inquisitors and Scouts combined. Shit, it's almost more bases popped than large anomalies. Almost more bases were popped than people did the fucking tutorials. This is definitely something that really needs to get looked at by the devs. And guys, if you're listening, my god, make the bases harder. Do something to change the fact that we can so easily be trolled at any time. And they give you access to so much of the game with faction wrecks, rig BPs, and drone PPs plus data cores. So much is reliant on this one mechanic, so let's do something about it. Transition Transactions are pretty straightforward, honestly. Railguns and missiles being sold the most and everything else being on a pretty even footing. Battle cruisers making the most ISK, followed by prop modules, and shield hardeners again shows the massive amount of people going Caldari. Now for the last few we have industry metrics, and the first one we have is kind of like what the hell. Look at Forge. What the hell is happening on Forge? I mean seriously, what the hell? That is mental. There has to be a story there. There has to be a reason for the massive amount just in Forge. The rest of space is pretty evenly mined. The Planetary Production is pretty evenly distributed. The Forge being the most used, Delve, Aquarius, and Decline, etc. seeing big amounts of PP being mined. Shows where those industrial powerhouses were sitting. Maybe one of those would Trimark. The amount of heavy water mined from PP is the clear victor here. Everything else is pretty even. I'm surprised on the plasmoids, honestly, considering it was a great fuel source. The most built ships were the industrials, followed by the destroyers. Combat drones being the thing that was built most, not surprising since none except civilian drones were seeded. And shield rigs, again, the same story. Everyone going Caldari. The logistics shows that a lot of people tried out space trucking at the start and only slowly filtered off towards the end of the test. This was a completely underrated way to make ISK, and it's definitely going to be something to look at come launch. And that's all we have for today. Remember to like and sub if you haven't already to your one-stop shop for Eve Echoes. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.